Hello, this is John Watts. Today I want to talk about the TCPA, Telephone Consumer Protection Act, and specifically how it applies to collectors calling our cell phones. You know, these days a lot of us don't have a home phone, we just use our cell phone for everything. And of course collectors know this and they want to be able to reach out and touch us, and so they will often call our cell phones. Now, there's nothing wrong with a human being, a collector, calling our cell phone. But where it can be a problem and where it can violate the law is when that debt collector uses an auto dialer or a pre-recorded message when calling our phone. Now let me tell you what I'm talking about. An auto dialer is simply a device on the telephone, and usually it's a computer, but it allows that telephone to automatically call, or like the name suggests, automatically dial our number. Now the way this typically works in a large collection agency is the computer will make all these calls, and then when you answer the phone, when a human being answers the phone, then sometimes a message will come on that'll say, "Please hold for the next available representative," or that computer will look around and find the representative, the collector that's available, and then it will shoot that call into their headphone, and on their screen will pop up your information. So that's how an auto dialer works. A pre-recorded message, again, is like the name suggests. It's a message that's being left on your cell phone, your voicemail, or maybe when you pick up the phone, it'll be this automated pre-recorded message. In other words, it's not a live human being leaving that message. Okay, so what's the big deal with these? Well, Congress decided that this was a big deal, and people using these auto dialers, using pre-recorded messages, calling emergency phone numbers, calling hospital phone numbers, and calling cell phones was a serious problem. And so if a collector or anybody calls your cell phone using an auto dialer or a pre-recorded message, then it's very likely they have violated the TCPA. They can only do that if they have your permission. And the federal government has told us the way we test that is by looking at, did you give permission to the original creditor when you opened up the account? Okay, so when you filled out the application, did you write on there your cell phone number? Did you give it then? If you did not, then very likely they do not have permission to call your cell phone. Here's the result if they call without permission. Every call, $500 statutory damage. Okay, unlike the FDCPA, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, that has a $1,000 ceiling, this is $500 for this call, and then the next call, and the next call, and the next call. And if a court finds that it was intentional, and honestly I don't know how these are not intentional, we'll talk about that in a second, but then it's $1,500 per call. Now one way I know that would be intentional is if you gave permission initially and then you revoke that permission. So one of these companies is calling you, maybe it's your mortgage company, your auto company, maybe it's a debt collector. You answer your phone, you say, "Listen, if I ever gave you permission to call my cell phone, I'm revoking that permission. I'm withdrawing that permission." Now the safest thing is follow that up in letter format, certified mail, return receipt requested. But even just telling that over the phone should be sufficient to take away any permission that they had to call you. So all the calls after you took away that permission would be, in my judgment, intentional. Now, we had one client that the debt had gone into default years and years ago. She obtained a new cell phone number, and then immediately this collector started calling her. Well, there's no way that she had given permission. That had to be intentional. $1,500 per call. It's a very powerful law, and it's one that is not used very often. So if you're dealing with debt collectors, or maybe a mortgage company, a car company, and they just keep calling over and over and over, sometimes 4, 5, 10 times a day, make a note of that. Look on your cell phone, look at that caller ID, And if you can't save it any other way, take a picture of the caller ID so you have proof of it. Save all your voicemails that have that pre-recorded message in it. If you pick up the phone and it says, please hold for the next available representative, make a notation, pre-recorded message. And then you need to take action. That certainly is taking action, documenting, recording voicemails, things of that nature. But then sit down with a lawyer that's familiar with this and find out, in your specific situation, do you have the right and is it in your best interest to bring a lawsuit? Now, if you live in Alabama and want to talk with us, we're always glad to talk with you. You can go to our website, alabamaconsumer.com, and contact us. Or you can just call us directly, 205-879-2447. We answer the phones basically from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, some on the weekends. And if you by chance miss us, just leave a voicemail and we'll give you a call back. All right, I appreciate you listening to this. Hope it's been helpful, and let us know how we can help you further in the future. Thank you.